Hi, this is Matt with Captain O's Knives again. Today we're going to be continuing on the same project knife we're doing. You may notice a couple differences. I went ahead and did the tang grinding, finished it flat down, and I did something weird with the tang here. This is why I left it full thickness. It's because I wanted to put a fire steel inside it. I didn't show you this part simply because I'm not here to teach you how to use a lathe, nor am I good enough with the lathe to teach somebody how to use it, and this was a major pain in the ass. But yeah, I chalked up the blade in the lathe, drilled it, tapped it, and made a little piece for my fire steel so that it'll just screw in. Finished product, hopefully when it turns out nice, gonna have a nice little knob there, may drill a hole through it, put a paracord lanyard or something on it. But other than that, in this video, we're gonna move along in the process. We're gonna hollow out the tang a little bit, do some drilling in it to get some weight. I like to balance the knife right around your index finger point. With this one, obviously, we're extremely tang heavy and we don't even have scales on it yet. So we want to move that balance point towards the blade a little bit. With the fixture I've got and with the thickness of the handle, I'm not going to be able to fully get this balance point where I want it, most likely. And I'm going to drill as much as I can and try to move it up there, but it won't be perfect. So I'm not going to expect too much of that. After we're done with that, we're going to move on to hand sanding. Before I move to heat treat, I like to hand sand everything. Some people go in machine finish, some people go in and sandblast it beforehand. I like to hand sand it before heat treat. That way I have a nice even base starting point for the heat treat. So then when I pull it out, I don't have a whole lot of hard metal I have to knock off. I've got smooth metal. I just got to get the decarb, the oxidation off of it, and then I'm ready to start finishing. So we'll be at the drill press and get this handle drilled. Alright, for doing this part, I like to use a unibit rather than just regular carbides or straight flutes. Reason being, the holes I put, depending on where in the handle it is, are going to be varying sizes. It keeps me from having to move around bits and change different spots and whatnots. Okay, so I've effectively Swiss cheesed the tang of this knife. Now the balance still isn't perfect. It's not going to be perfect like I was saying, but it gives me a little bit of leeway as far as being completely handle heavy. So next thing I'm going to do is move on to my sanding. I don't like to dry sand. Some people I know use Windex, some use water. Personally, I like to use cutting fluid. Same thing I use for drilling, for milling, for lathing, everything else. It's just a basic cutting oil. And I'll drizzle it onto the sandpaper. And with the sanding, you want to do two different strokes. You're going to go lengthwise and you're going to go horizontally. Reason being, with every grit you use, you're making those scratches into the metal. And you're going to go one way, you're going to make those scratches, go the other way to cover up those scratches. And then when you move to the next grit, you're going to start back on that first direction. That way you can make sure you get rid of every single scratch going the other way. If you do everything in the same direction, the scratches are going to get masked and you're going to miss some, and when you get down to your final finish, it's going to look like crap. So cross over your sanding. On the grits, I start back at 220 grit. I know on the bench grinder, we went down to 35 microns, and it seems counterintuitive to go down to go back up to 220. But what we're really going to do with the 220 is look for any defects in the surface of the metal. Any ridges, any pits, valleys, whatever. And we're going to take care of those, get those out of the way, and then we'll work our way back up through the grits after heat treat. Before heat treat, you can just do the 220 stick with it. I like to go up to 400 before heat treat, just like as I mentioned before, it gives me a nice, smoother, even finish before it goes in. That way it comes out a little smoother. So, you know, again, on the main bevel, if you have a saber grind, you're gonna have to do that 2 different times, one on the main body and then one on the bevel. With a full grind like this, you know, you're just basically worried about the bevel, and then you'll come back in and do the flat parts of the body as well. So this is tedious, it takes a while, and it's my least favorite part of it, but it is extremely necessary if you want a good finish on your knife. Alright, so here we have the knife. It's been sanded down to 220 grit. Just for the sake of keeping the video short, because I'm tired and I'm running out of hours in the day, I'm not going to show you the 400 grit. Same principle though. Really not something you need to see, but same thing. Go one way, go the other way, do the same thing on each side, do the flats, do the bevels, and come out with a nice even satin finish. And that's what we're going to take to heat treat. Thanks for joining us today for this video. Again, if you enjoyed this video or any of my other ones, subscribe now. That way you get the updates for any new videos post. And feel free to make comments. If you have any questions, any different methods, feel free to start a discussion about it. And stay tuned, new videos will be coming soon.